This is Leon, the Director of Alumni here at Evolutions. We have a special guest here, an alumni of Evolutions Treatment Center. Her name is Sherry. She's a veteran, and I wanted her to share some of her strength, experience, and hope with you guys.
Right. I'm a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom, and Noble Eagle. I was mobilized under all of those theaters of combat. During training, I sustained some injuries and I became a victim of post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as some other traumatic issues that needed work with therapy. The substance abuse became something that was part of my life, as well as the mental health, and as an Army nurse, it was very difficult to maintain that employment I was so proud of. I needed some therapy and some extra help, and after doing some research, I came across Evolutions, and they were more than happy to help me with some of these things.
And I know, being a primary therapist myself in the past, I have clinical background. I've worked with a lot of veterans also, and I know how hard it is to reintegrate back into society again because of the PTSD and all the triggers in the environment. What happens is when somebody who has PTSD and there's a trigger, a stimuli in the environment, what ends up happening is the prefrontal cortex, which is like the front of the brain, it gets shut off when you go through these like PTSD moments. And what the prefrontal cortex is responsible for is like critical thinking skills and imagination. That's what makes us human. And when that gets shut off, then suddenly the stem, which is like the back of the brain, right, that starts operating. And that's basically fight, flight, or freeze. So that makes it very hard when you're triggered by a stimuli to reintegrate back to society again. And a lot of veterans end up developing substance abuse. That is how they cope with the PTSD. And then they realize that, okay, well, the substance abuse has worked for some time, but now it's making my life very unmanageable, and I'm even worse now at functioning in society. So that's why it's like so important for veterans to come in and get the help that they so much need and so much deserve.
Well, I just wanted to say that identifying those things, these skills that the therapists really ingrain into us and they're very instrumental in helping with, is something that I've learned here. Subjectively, objectively gathering data about what's affecting me and my own diagnosis in order to go through that cognition and that mindfulness, that spirituality that I have to get to in order to overcome these obstacles in public. And the obstacles that I was facing with substance dependency and mental health were a lot fixable once I started working with a therapist, and they drew me into their, sort of took me into their arms and showed me that we have mindfulness and spirituality that does exist, and that you're able to intervene and implement these measures in your life to troubleshoot and to go back and just basically see what's wrong and fix it. The doctors have been instrumental in, just saying, hey, I think you need to try something else. If this isn't working for you, we'll definitely, try a different medication. And so the medications have also helped quite a bit. And I know from personal experience that I can see a major difference in myself from when I first started to where the medication has stabilized my moods, and post-traumatic stress disorder is not necessarily part of my life anymore.
That's amazing. That's what I wish for every veteran that has PTSD, to get the help that they need and to get to a place to where you're at right now, which is amazing. Is there anything that you would like to tell perhaps a veteran that is struggling right now with PTSD and other co-occurring disorders and substance abuse?
Evolutions has been instrumental in my recovery, and I recommend coming to Evolutions, and that if there is a program that follows through on spirituality and spiritual guidance, with regard to recovery in a cognitive and mindful way, it would be evolutions.
Absolutely. And I know I keep saying this, but like I see the transformation that has occurred with you. And I'm just so happy that now you are like fully reintegrated into the community. You're sober. You overcame a lot of your mental health struggles. And you mentioned it earlier, you're not struggling with PTSD anymore. So something is working here at Evolutions. And if you're a veteran and watching this right now, please give us a call. Let us help you. We're very well equipped here to provide all of the services that you need. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for helping me keep the faith.
No, thank you. Thank you. Makes me so happy to see where you're at. So